Hi, Debbie. Thank you so much for coming. I'm really, really grateful that you've made the time for us.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
You have such a wealth to share, and I'm really excited to see what I can get you to spill. So let's start. Okay, so this is, I think, the most burning question I have. You launch a lot, right? I want to know, what is the most effective way you found of growing your email list?
Always webinars. I think over time, and I've been doing this for a long time, this business. And I have lead magnets. I've tried a lead magnet like this, like that. And I have a couple of free downloads on my website. But I've always found that the best conversion tool for me, for lead magnets, to get the people that really want to connect with me, is running webinars.
Wow. Okay, so that's the big thing, because not everybody feels comfortable giving a webinar and selling at the end for sure. So what would be your biggest tip for somebody who wants to really get better at doing webinars?
Do it. You want to get better at cooking in the kitchen. You get married. Let's say you're one of these women who got married and her mother cooked everything in the kitchen. Maybe you helped a little bit, but you didn't know how to make a pot of rice. You didn't know how to scramble an egg. You didn't know how to make challah. I mean, the first time I made gefilte fish, it was the only time I made gefilte fish in my life. And by the rolls. But my gefilte fish fell apart. But how do you learn to make gefilte fish that doesn't fall apart in the pot? You make it again and again and again.
Right.
Until you do it. And I always tell my clients that you run the first webinar so you can get to the second webinar. You run the second webinar so you can get to the third webinar. Even the first webinar that you run, don't even worry about selling. Like, selling on the back end of a webinar is a whole thing. It's a whole animal in and of itself. Just go out there, give the webinar, give it your best. I've had clients who've had slides, who haven't had slides, but just get comfortable with getting on Zoom. There's so many moving parts in just a webinar. Forget running a business. So just get comfortable doing that. And you do it over and over, and you'll be a master at it after 10 years.
So what does your webinar journey look like? How did it feel at the beginning for you?
I remember my business coach back in the day telling me to run a webinar. And listen, I've been at this again a long time. And I have no idea. And I think that that's like really one of the benefits of having a coach, is when your coach tells you to do something and she shows up on your webinar. So you feel like you're wrapped in that security blanket.
Right.
Like, you have somebody there rooting for you. You have somebody there who will also tell you nicely at the end of it, like the things that you did well, the things that need improving. And she's not going to dump 18 million things on you at the end of it, but because we only can tweak a little bit at a time. You perfect your skills by doing it over and over again.
Yeah, definitely. I love what you said about the coach showing up. I think that's something so valuable. And it's something that I've experienced with my own clients, coaching them through webinars. It took me time to realize what a critical piece it is to have that support while they're going live. I thought, I'll set up all the tech and then they know how to handle Zoom, they'll go and do it. But really, it's such a great piece to have that person. How do you fill up your webinars? Because you can't just keep launching to the same email list, right? So how do you get new people in?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this is where, in the Jewish world, we're going to divide, because I'm on social media. I have a presence on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and some people aren't.
Right.
So that's a completely different
animal.
So I'm very open about advertising my webinars. And as you and I talked even before we pressed record, I'm going to start doing Facebook ads to increase my audience and to reach more people in 2026. But if you're not, then you're going to need a different strategy. There are going to have to be other places that you advertise. So maybe referral networks. You're going to have people who are going to advertise for you. And we know from like the really big, well-known names in the coaching world that they're always advertising everybody else's launches. Like Amy Porterfield, if you're on her list, I used to be, I'm not on her list. Like, she advertises the people that she is affiliated with, and other big names. They're all sharing each other's content and webinars. So we're cross-pollinating each other's lists.
Yeah.
And so that's a great way, is like, the people who have an email list, they have subscribers who could also benefit you. You can do a swap like that. And then there's Google ads, and you have to find other places. It could be advertising in print media. That's an expensive way to do it. So you have to think about, you have to know what your advertising budget is. And that's why I've done organic marketing on social media up until now. And here's something that I tell my clients, because many of my clients themselves don't want to be on social media. And I 100%, 1,000%, I respect that. It's, besides all the stuff that you see there, it's a huge time suck. However, if you're not completely adverse to it, it's not like verboten for you, right?
Okay.
And you can have a social media VA who will go and act on your behalf. And one thing that I think, Sarah, you and I both agree on is if you have a social media VA, I still think it's important for you to write the content.
Yes.
Because you know your business better than anybody else. Like it's the energy. It infuses your writing. Like the little nuances of the words. I mean, think about it in our tradition. How many different words do we have for rain in the Jewish tradition? Like the early rains, the late rains, this kind of rain, that, like, the nuances of the words that your audience needs to hear. And that's important. And you'll write it better. Like I have a VA, a social media VA. She does some of it. I do some, and she does some. And she also writes some of my content. Sometimes I'll go and correct it. Like she's really good. She's been working with me for 3.5 years. She's not even Jewish. But she gets me and my voice. She's listened to my podcast. She knows the cadence of how I speak. But there's still times that I'm like, I don't think so. And I go in and I'll change it. And sometimes I'll just let it go.
Definitely. A lot of course creators feel like they're restricted, that they can't use social media or that they won't use social media. But I do think that joint venture launches, like you said, teaming up with someone else for the list is the next big thing. You just have to figure out how to do it well. Because again, I think we're becoming more discerning in 2025. Summits that don't have a strong core, they don't have a strong theme, summits which are just everybody cobbled together and throwing in their thing and speaking for an hour each, then I don't think those are floating either as well as they used to. Anything which doesn't have a really powerful core strategy or something really delicious or alluring about it, it's just not working as well.
You know what? I think that's a good thing for the people who are really good and very serious. Like the cream always rises to the top.
Yes.
Right. And I think that if summits were working a year ago, 3 years ago, and you could put 21 people on a summit and talk, and people had time for it. Certainly back in the days of COVID, 2020, 2021, people were at home more. We were on Zoom more, so there was just more time to participate. Mm-hmm. But that means the quality is going to stand out. And if you are high quality, you also get to charge for that, right? It's like all these things that are like, just join my thing for $49 or $27 or $18. Like if it's not good quality, people won't even pay you that.
100%.
The buyer is much more discerning about all the stuff, for lack of a more eloquent word, all the stuff available online.
Yeah. I think the word quality is the buzzword of 2025, and it's hitting people in so many different ways. It's not a given anymore that your launch is going to work. It has to have that voice, it has to have that investment of you in it, for sure. So what are the top 3 mistakes that you've made in launching? And how did you pivot or tweak as a result?
Oh, that's a great question. So my launch strategy in the beginning, and again, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. It just is what it is. I didn't have any email sequences prepared ahead of time.
Oh, wow.
So every time I would because again, all the moving parts.
Yeah, for sure.
Prepare the webinar, run the webinar. Okay, now I have to write the email and send the email. And so not having anything prepared in advance, both the emails to invite people to the webinar and the email follow-ups, the sequence with the replay and whatever. Now I have an entire automation in ActiveCampaign, which is the email software that I use, where day 1, day 2, day 3, and I've been experimenting in 2025. I've done 3 days, I've done 5 days, I've done 2 days. I know people who do a 2-week course.
Yeah.
Except for one, I did 1 free class. I might have done 2 free classes this year. I don't remember. But all of these, the 3, the 5, the 2 days, were all paid programs. Again, they're paid programs at a fairly low ticket price to get the serious buyers in. These weren't for increasing my email. This wasn't lead gen. I'm going to be doing more of that in 2026. But because I think business is all about experimenting.
Yes.
So, but now I just have this whole automation set up, an active campaign. I just can go and change the emails, change the Zooms, change the Zoom links, change the replay days. And I mean, until I figured it all out. But 5 days didn't work for my energy. I even put it over a weekend. So it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Monday, Tuesday. But it was sitting on my head over the weekend, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
The 3 days worked the best. I mean, I do know
Wow.
when I look at my stats that the people showing up and the people looking at the replays drops off significantly after day 2. But in terms
Interesting.
of the value that I deliver at a certain price point and what I want to cover, because I want to give like a meaty program. I don't want someone to show up, even if it's $97, and feel gypped. Like that was
Mhm.
another thing that people used to do, is like you show up to a webinar, it was 20 minutes of content and 30 minutes of selling. And that was like
Mhm.
ick.
Yes.
So if someone's paying me, whether it's 97 or 197, I want them to be like, wow, Debbie really gives good value, because that is going to be, for me, that's a great marketing angle. It's a great sales angle, because I
Sure.
become the person who they know they can trust and rely on. And indeed, it's worked. It's a little bit longer like runway or
Mhm.
lead gen strategy. But recently, like my first client, it took me a whole year of doing this, right? From someone who joined webinar after webinar after webinar, joined my 12-month program. And so having patience and testing things is also really important. So all my follow-up emails were already in my active campaign automation. But
Mhm.
my pre-launch, I have some of them because I launch a lot, as you said. I mean, this is again has been my strategy shift for 2025, was to launch more frequently with valuable masterclasses, like paid
Mhm.
masterclasses. But because some of the content is similar, I can repurpose old content. And that's also something that's extremely valuable when you've been doing this for a long time, like I have. I have an entire content vault of, like I said, 2020, maybe 2016 was my first webinar. I don't think 2015.
Mm.
But what it means is, and I'm for sure not going to be relaunching or rewriting emails that I wrote 9 years ago, but something I wrote 2 or 3 years ago when I had like figured out my niche more specifically, that's excellent content. That's the bones of a really good email. And I can
Mhm.
see what worked then, what were people responding to, and I can reuse that, or use the theme of that email, so it makes my life easier. So I can have some pre-emails, like in order to get, invite people in. I can have those already written. I can have the post-webinar emails written. So I don't want to make this like a mistake that people did wrong, because there's just so much. Also,
Mhm.
in 2024, I hired a team to help me with my launch strategy, and they were showing me the value of having emails written out ahead of time. And so I learned from them. And I think this is where, as a money coach, money and business coach, people want to do everything themselves, which is great. And listen, it's a great way to learn your business, a great way to save money. But the first time I hired them for like 2 packages, the first time I hired them, it worked out really well. And it was like a new way, to do it. And then the woman who owned that company, that service, she grew her company, and I had way less interaction with her team, and it didn't work for me. So I stopped doing that. But it was a great investment to get like a whole bunch of emails and be able to also repurpose content that they'd written for me, and that, I can go back and I could look at.
Amazing. So I think that having the emails prepped in advance is amazing. I will still say that I feel like there is something to be said for the energy of the actual launch.
I concur with you 100%. And because ideas come to you like
Mhm.
in the moment, you're like, oh, that angle. Oh, I didn't say this. Oh,
Yeah.
like you get ideas like these, like divine downloads, but it just takes off so much pressure. Like the first time I had hired this team to help me with my launch, my husband and I were on a 3-day hike down like in the south of Israel with Aline. We were doing a fundraising hike. And my emails were going out, and I didn't write them. I didn't schedule them. I didn't anything them. And people were signing up for my webinar. It was so cool.
Amazing. Okay, that's the dream, right? That is the dream that all of these long sales pages are selling.
I had it.
What an amazing experience.
Also, when I did the launch and it was starting, I was on a trip to the States to visit my family and do a little bit of business there. It really, really is a dream. But now that I've taken that template, as it were, not exactly, and I've been able, like in 2025, to implement it for myself.
Amazing. Let me ask you about the paid webinars. You said that's a bit of a shift for you. Tell me about that. Have you found that it works? Are you finding that you're getting a higher quality person? Are you finding that you're getting as many people in the funnel as you want to? What's that like?
Okay, so works, we have to define when you say, am I finding that it works? I'm getting paid to show up for my time. That's number one.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm getting paid for value. Like I'm getting people who are already interested in what I'm offering. I mean, you know, because you know, when you launch something, if you launch a free webinar, what's the show up rate? Is it like, is 25%, 30%, right? So if you pay to show up to a masterclass,
You show up.
where you see it's 3 days, it's valuable. And I do say in my emails that I'm going to make you an offer at the end, but it doesn't matter. You get lifetime access to the webinar.
Yeah.
So even if you decide that this is what you need, this is what you want, this is a piece of my puzzle for my business, and that's what I need right now. Like, you need to learn how to write content. I've done 2 content programs this year. That's great. Take it and go and implement that, and then come back when you want to do sales. Come back when you want to learn. I'm going to be running a masterclass learning how to run webinars. I'm like exactly what you and I are talking about. And I didn't even know that. Like, what's the launch strategy? How do you sell on the back end of a webinar? Because it's something that I've done so much, and I understand how it works now. And so if you want to learn content and just practice that for a year and then come back when I do my, webinars that convert masterclass, that's fine. And then when you realize after you've been in my world for a while that, oh, Debbie does this and Debbie does that and Debbie does money mindset and Debbie does, pricing and where all your money blocks around raising your prices, you'll be like, oh, you know what? I so much connect with the way she serves that I'm just going to join her program, because not only do I get the masterclass, but I get Debbie in Slack every day.
Which is major.
It is major. It really, really is.
Love how you know your value, Debbie. You're so phenomenal that you just know. You don't need the reassurances.
Thank you. You can go and take a paid masterclass, and you can implement. But when you have me in your back pocket or me in your Slack channel, and I have a coach, I've always had a coach, right? I'm never without a coach. And when you have your coach, like, then you can reach out, like, you have a question. Oh, just let me reach out and ask. Like, I cannot talk to my coach for 2 weeks, and that's fine. And I can be working on the foundations of my business in the meantime and whatever. But having that person who responds to you quickly so you don't get stuck, that's where we go. And sometimes it's just like a little mindset shift, because you're going down into the river of misery and you're going to, stop yourself. And
yes.
You just have a yes. You might have a yes or no question.
And
It's just like, yes, do that. And away you go. And that saves you like losing 2 days of showing up in your business. And that's where people and I'm all for doing things yourself if you can and learning the business and whatever. But at the end of the day, we're humans and we have human brains, and our human brains love to protect us. Like, we have been wired to avoid pain. We need to preserve our energy. That's just the way God has designed us. And overriding that with your Yetzer Tov, overriding that with your higher thinking is not always easy. And that's a huge benefit of having a coach.
That is an element I wasn't expecting to creep in, but I really love that. Sometimes you have coaches with the attitude of a psychologist that when the session is over, it's over and that's it. But that human piece of being available when you need it is something so important. And yeah, I guess you have to be prepared to pay for that. But it's definitely going to help you grow your business. If you want a coach, look out for that piece. I'm going to have to do some triage here because I don't want to keep you forever. Okay, I want to just explore the paid webinar piece a little bit more, because a lot of course creators who feel like, okay, if I make my webinars paid, then I won't get as many people. Just to get this really clear, is growing your list is a different strategy to the paid webinar one. You don't throw cold leads at a paid webinar. You would only throw cold leads at a free webinar, and then you would go ahead and sell a webinar to your list as a low ticket offer. Is that what's going on here?
That's an interesting question. I haven't explored that idea yet of like running, let's say, Facebook ads to a cold audience and getting them to pay for a paid webinar. I'm just going to put that aside because I don't know. I don't want to talk about something that I don't know. I think people do it.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And I don't know what the conversion rate on those are, but, and running Facebook ads, and it's Facebook and Instagram because they're, both owned by Meta. Though that's something that I'm exploring in you, and you have to learn what it is that will get you the leads that are right for you. Because when you go out to cold traffic, and I like to look at it like a pond. You have your pond, and your pond has a certain number of fish in it, which if you have a business and you can go local, those are the people that know you. You can go out, you can meet them in a networking meeting, etc. And then you slowly but surely expand your audience, and you go out to colder and colder audiences. And it will take time to tweak the ads to figure out who are the people who want what I'm offering.
Right.
So as far as, so it's a different strategy, lead gen. But when you increase your email list, let's say from 1,000 to 10,000, might not more than 1,000. But if you want to 10x your email list, besides the fact that you have to pay ActiveCampaign a lot of money.
Oh, yes.
You want 10,000 people.
Yes.
10,000 people on your email list. But leaving that aside,
yeah,
you want the right people on your email list. For example, people who want who want a coach who is God-centered. I believe in God. I'm very open about that. I take up all the Jewish holidays. I say Shana Tova in my emails. I'm very open about who I am and what I do. If those aren't your values, if you're an atheist, you're an agnostic, and you don't, I'm not your person, that's fine. There are 8 billion people in the world. There's another coach out there for you who you're going to jive with. You guys are on the same frequency, and that's wonderful. So, I don't want to increase my email list. I don't want to just increase my email list for the goal of increasing my email list. It needs to be the right people who could be potential clients. So there's that lead gen strategy where you're just bringing a lot of people in. But if they're the wrong people, if you are a health coach and you want your people to have a plant-based or vegetarian diet, you don't want all the carnivores in the world on your list unless they're thinking of changing over their food habits for health reasons, cholesterol reasons, whatever. But if someone likes a good, juicy steak, they're just not your person.
Right. I've seen launches which really don't work due to email lists which don't rely, shall we say. I think that was a great answer. So there's a lot of course creators out there who feel like sending a lot of emails is too salesy or pushy. So I know you send out a lot of emails and they're great emails. How would you reframe that belief so that marketing feels aligned and not spammy? Because that's how they feel when they send out more than one email a week.
Marketing is a service. It's how I let my people know that I have what they're looking for. There are people who want a business coach, who want a money coach, who want to grow their business. They want to create a 6-figure or 7-figure business. And just like it doesn't bother you when you see your local pizza shop advertising every week in your local, whatever rag sheet that's coming around your neighborhood, or the same products and services over and over and over again in the mishpacha, in the family first, whatever, we just see them and they're just letting us know that they exist. And I'm letting you know that I exist. Most people don't open every email. Who has time to open every email? Sometimes I'll sort my inbox by alphabetical order, and I'll see that I have a whole bunch of emails from one person. Delete, 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 delete. Great. I love you very much. I really like your content. I'm not ready to unsubscribe, but I don't have time. I have to go make a honey cake. Even one of my friends, I have a little group. We're 4 of us that we were in a mastermind together, and we just keep in contact. And she's in the middle of a launch. And yesterday she had 3 days to go. And I said, there are always people who buy at the last minute, right? People they're waiting almost. I don't know if it's psychological or something, 24 hours to go, 12 hours to go, 6 hours to go. They're hey, 30 minutes after the last email where there's no time left. They're can I still get in?
Right.
So I just keep sending emails.
Right. But I do think that people would say back, hey, 1 second, that example that you brought of Mishpacha, well, it's a magazine. An inbox is way more intrusive. And so, I don't know, to me...
Why is it intrusive? Why is it intrusive for me to show up in somebody's inbox twice a day when I'm in a launch?
An inbox feels almost like somebody's home. It's a personal space, right? You have very personal conversations going on in there. It's your own account. It's not the level of your bank account, which is personal and private, but it does feel private. people feel like sending out an email more than once a week, it feels like they're literally knocking on someone's front door every single morning and saying, hi, here's a biscuit, or hi, can I borrow sugar? And they feel like they're going to be a no. So what would you tell a course creator who feels that way?
You just have to keep letting people know that you exist, because one day that person is going to want what you offer. And if they don't, like, really, my mindset is buy or unsubscribe. I've had people unsubscribe and then get back on my email list, which is also fine.
Right. And I had that experience myself. So spending a few months following someone and then going off and then being pulled back in because their stuff is good. Right.
Yeah. So but really, I'm a business owner. I'm running a business. The job of the business is to make money. The job of the business is to be profitable. It's not me. It's the business. And I think that this is something that is so important, is to build a Chinese wall between your business and your person.
Right.
Right. The business needs a steady flow of paying clients in order to be a going concern.
Mm-hmm.
And the business needs to increase its reach so that it can sell more of its valuable products, valuable services to the people who want what it's offering.
Right.
It's not about me. And, I have a couple of different products, like I'm on their email list, and I keep getting their products. I think actually I'm only down to one now. Like, do you know who Sarah Blakely is? Sarah Blakely launched Spanx, the shapewear for women that like revolutionized the world for women.
Right.
Anyway, she launched last year a shoe called Sneaks. It's a tennis shoe with a heel. She had it designed so that you can wear heeled shoes, which look lovely under dresses or whatever, but they don't hurt your feet. So they're kind of like, they're wider in the ball of the foot, the toes, so they're not pinching your toes, whatever. I'm just obsessed with her. I will probably never, ever buy them because because I don't know, where am I going to wear them in Israel? They would just get ruined, but like I wear flats. But her marketing is so good and so fun, so I don't open most of them. But occasionally a subject line intrigues me and I'll open it up, and they're so good.
Right.
One day I will probably just unsubscribe because I know I'm not going to buy it. So I'm just going to be like lusting after these shoes that I'm never going to buy. So it's time for me to get rid of it. But the job of her company is to sell Sneaks. Like, that's its purpose.
Right.
And if I'm not going to buy it, like, her mindset would be like, get off my email list. I'm paying for you. Go away. She's really cute. She's adorable. So, but like, that's it. Like, if you're not going to work with me, again, I love you. You're a carnivore. You love that. I mean, I don't usually eat that juicy steak. I'll take fish any day. But like, it's okay. I love you, but you don't need to be on my email list. I'm not going to take it personally because I'm a CEO.
Right. Okay. So I think that is the piece, right? That is the mindset shift that you need to have. I think there are too many course creators who look at their unsubscribes and are like, why do I have so many unsubscribes from this email? So I think to a certain degree that you need to look, but if you click to view unsubscribes beyond the number, like I know I had 10 unsubscribes from this email, but if you start looking who they are, I think that is the red line. Like that's the line to show that you're getting emotionally involved with the people who are unsubscribing. And I don't think that's healthy or necessary because, like you said,
you know what? I did this today. I mean, I had one person unsubscribe from my list.
No, right.
Today I didn't even send an email. But I clicked in and I just like to see like what's their track record. So I looked at the statistics. I noticed that the person had received 106 emails from me. And when I scrolled down, she's not opening them.
Right.
Like, yay. You wanted my freebie. You wanted my download. I hope you got what you wanted. You apparently, that was all you wanted from me. And gesund hate.
Right.
Obviously not meant to be besties. It's okay.
Right. Yeah, I hear. I think though, perhaps it needs to be something that people dive into at a set time. It's not like, oh my goodness, I saw an unsubscribe. Who was it? Like there's too much emotional payload bound up in unsubscribes because it does feel like a rejection of you. And when it's a personal brand, that's very understandable, right? This is funny. I just launched my husband. We talked about this a while back, Debbie. He's launching a Hashkafa Institute, and it's so fun watching him getting into content and emails and everything. And when I saw him looking at his unsubscribes, I was like, sorry, unsubscribed. And I was like, okay. And it's something that I'm living through in real time right now, the whole unsubscribes thing. But yeah, I think that approach, you're a CEO and you have to have the money going on in this business, otherwise what's it doing? Right? Then I think that definitely helps that stepping back approach. You're a business owner, not a person. Okay. You just launched Charisma to Cash, right? You had this gorgeous graphic at the top. It made it look so delicious. Tell us in a few words what it is. And then, is there a story behind it? Is there something that made you launch it? Like, what was the background to this program?
I had the idea for that title earlier this year. It just like came to me, which is it was a content program, how to write content. And you and I have talked about this. We've even talked about this on the podcast, like bring your personality, bring your charisma, right?
Mhm.
We're living now in an era of AI where I can sniff out a ChatGPT email. It's like the same cadence of all the sentences, the same words. Forget the M dashes. We all know if you have too many. I used to use M dashes back in the day, but apparently we can't use them anymore because everybody will think we're ChatGPTing them. Regardless, like it doesn't feel like a person, and we want to feel the person. So the idea was to bring your charisma into your content, and that's going to turn it into cash. So I had the title, and then I was creating some offers for my birthday, which was in July. My English birthday was in July. My Hebrew birthday was in August. So I opened up a little launch window where I had a bunch of like offers that I was sharing, and I was like, okay, that one that I had on my radar screen, I'm gonna share that one. So that was the idea, and I see this again. As I said, I'm in Slack with my clients. Like writing content is. I used to think it was money mindset, and money mindset is huge. I used to think that your money mindset was like the number one thing that was stopping you, but I'm seeing maybe more and more now because of the shift that we're talking about, that content and connecting with your person is almost overshadowing your relationship with money, because people are so in their head. They're so like we talked about like being the CEO, being your personal brand and whatever, like they're like all thinking about themselves. Oh my gosh, what do I say? And trying to be a perfectionist. They're trying, like even one of my clients today, I want to keep it very very generic. So we talk about, she talked about, there were some words that like weren't the way people talk. She talked about calming your hormones. I'm like, I don't understand what that means. Like,
Right.
like
Right.
we balance hormones. Like people talk like balancing hormones. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we talk like people? Let's not talk in words that people don't understand.
Right.
And that's so important. But there is a way to write an email where you bring, and I'm still like developing the skill as readers have become more discerning in what they read. Like I'm working on my copy skills. Like I have never worked on my copy skills. I'm, hand on my heart. That's what I'm doing also, because I see the difference in the way people are showing up for copy these days. And that's something that's so important in 2025 going into 2026, is to really connect with your people. As people dumb down your emails, please guys, like let's not use words that are like 27 letters long. People don't have time. People don't understand it. People are reading the emails if they have phones, they're reading them while they're waiting in line for carpool. If they're not on phones, their kids are screaming at them while they're on their, like whatever. They're reading them in a computer lab when they're not at home and they have to get home quickly. Like people don't have time to burn calories.
Yeah.
Understand your emails.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it short. Keep it simple. Simple, simple, simple. Anyway, so it came from a need that I see with my clients, that they're writing, whether it's on social media or in their emails, they just need to speak differently, and they need to speak more clearly, more specificity, less vague, less fluffy. Like tell people what you really do.
Oh yeah. 100%. The thing that you said about using words that resonate is so interesting, because even though you aren't always the target audience who your clients are writing to, but you can still pick up when there's a word there that people just are not going to resonate with, that people just don't use.
Even that word resonate.
Yeah.
That as coaches, and you do like some coaching strategy, I don't think you would call yourself a coach, or maybe you would now, in terms of what you're doing, helping your people launch. But like that's a coach speak word.
Yeah.
People connect. They don't resonate. So many of my clients are coaches, course creators, and healers. So they will resonate with the word resonate. But if you have a different audience, by coaches, I said, like, you have to talk to civilians. Stop using coach speak. People are not aligned. People don't know what alignment means.
Yeah.
You've never done a coaching course. Like, we just have to talk to people and what they're actually feeling in their body, and what they don't want to feel and what they really want to feel. So that's
Yeah.
really, really important.
Yeah. This copy piece is just outsized at the moment. It's so true. So can you share one standout gem from Charisma to Cash? Something that our listeners can implement right away?
Listen, it's a 2-day course. What do you want me to tell them? They can go and buy it.
Look, they definitely should.
What I said before, I think those points, if you shift just that in your copy, you dumb it down. We do not need 100 adjectives to describe something that's going on. Like, this was a term that I learned, I don't know, a few years ago already, like kill your darlings. It's known in the copy world. I mentioned it to my husband the other day because he's writing a book, right? All those things that we want to say, that we have on our heart, that we want to share with the world, like delete, like edit it down.
Yeah.
Edit it down. Really just keep in mind that, and I do have a tendency to write long-winded emails. I do admit I'm not really good at the very short form, very, very short form. But like delete as much as you can, and less is more. And bring your personality, like bring your charisma. If you're like soft and gentle, be soft and gentle. If you are bold, if you are loud, if you're courageous, like be who you are, because your people want to feel you. This is where the scarcity versus abundance mindset comes in. There are enough people in the world. Your people are out there. There are so many people. And if we're connecting virtually, you're not just limited to your local community anymore. So speak like you speak to humans.
Yeah.
That would be the number one thing, is speak like you speak to humans. I even had a coach tell me, this was probably about 5 years ago, what she used to do is she used to go into Facebook. You don't have to do this. And she'd open up Messenger and type. As if she was typing to someone. And then she would grab the copy because she knew she was writing to a person. So you could put a picture of one of your clients and print it out. Like if you're on WhatsApp, you can get the profile picture if it's not an avatar or a picture of their grandkids. Right? You can print it out and you can paste it on your computer so you feel like you're writing to a person. But write to you, not to we, not to us, like write to a single person.
Amazing.
And speak to that person like a person.
Amazing.
And just concentrate on one idea per email. Do not stuff your emails like a Thanksgiving turkey.
If a course creator wants to build not just quick wins, it's like not just a few cute sales, but a long-term thriving business, what's the one practice or principle you'd say they absolutely need to put in place right now?
Begin with the end in mind. Sof ma'aseh machshava tchila. Like, you are going to be in this business for a long term. It's not about quick wins. Like, serve your clients. Like, we're not here to make fast cash. I mean, fast cash is really nice. I like fast cash too. I like doing a birthday launch and then all of a sudden making like thousands of dollars because I sold a bunch of things on my birthday. It's fun. I admit it. But like, you're here to serve people. So put out really good work into the world, because your reputation will speak for itself. Like, trust that your clients are going to be your best ambassadors. So serve them really well. And know that you're in this for the long term. I mean, if you are. If you're not, then go make some fast cash and go get a job. But like, if you want to be in business for 10 years, serve your people really well, because you can fix your course, you can fix your launches, you can fix your emails, but your reputation, if it gets, besmirched, it's hard to fix.
Wow. Okay. I love that, because there's so many course creators or like people in this space go in saying, okay, if this doesn't work, and then I can always do X. I can always go back to X, right? But you're basically saying is that when you get in at the get-go, then you need to have your mind already on the end result. And yeah,
I think that's important. I think that, like, when you're like, I can always go back to X, like when you have that plan B, you're not going to go all in on plan A. There's always going to be this little voice like, this is your business. Like, go all in on your business. Like, right? Just go all in.
Yeah.
And also, if you're a course creator, if you're someone who's doing service-based, even a course is a product, right? But it's all service-based. It's not like you're selling shoes. It's not like you're selling, cars, right? You're selling something that can be delivered over the interwebs. Invest in your business the same way that product-based businesses invest in their businesses. meaning borrow money if you have to. Like nobody opens up a store where they're selling women's clothing without borrowing money. It could be you're borrowing from your father. It could be you're borrowing from your retirement account. It could be you're borrowing from your savings account. But you need to find a place, a real brick and mortar place to rent. You need to do the renovations. You need to buy the inventory. You need to hook up lights and water. People invest money into product-based businesses, brick and mortar businesses. Like so many people try to invest in their service-based business on the skinny. And that is going to hold you back. When I talked about the person I hired for my emails, the person that I hired for this, the person that I hired for that, like I'm going all in on my business, and I'm not. And I know that people want to launch the course, they want to get people in, and they want to pay their bills. But go back to that Chinese wall. Your business has to be its own thriving, going entity. If you suck everything out of it, and you have this scarcity mindset going into it that you're not going to invest, you're going to do everything yourself, and you're going to figure it all out, and you can figure out a lot of things. I mean, ChatGPT is amazing for helping you. YouTube videos are amazing for helping you. But there are things that you just don't know, and you can collapse your time frame and make money more quickly if you're not bootstrapping it. And you go all in, you're willing to borrow money, you're willing to learn from people who've come before, done this ahead of you. They've come before you.
Yes, it really is a mindset shift for opening an online business to actually invest in it. And this is something I just told a course creator, okay, like maybe a couple of months back, she wants to start from scratch. So in my early days, then I would say, yeah, just put up a sales page. You can be like put up a MailChimp page, pay a beginner copywriter to do it, and you'll earn your money back on the launch. I was like very conservative with investing money. But since then, my whole outlook has changed because I've seen that the ones who stay in the game, the ones who last, are not the ones who are penny pinching and double thinking and triple thinking every single little spend. And so the whole mindset of, yes, I do need to invest, even though it's just me and my computer, it's hard. And it does seem like the whole thing is just dependent on you, because what if it flops? There isn't even any real inventory to look at. Like, but I have all these gorgeous baby clothes. Like, someone's gonna want to buy it because everyone loves babies and everyone loves baby clothes, and they're gonna come and buy it. There's nothing. There's just you and the computer, what you can generate tomorrow. And you're like, well, maybe I might not be able to. An online business seems so much more uncertain. But if you go in with that mindset, like, yes, I can do it. Yes, I've done it in the past. Keep that in front of your head. You can do it. And you just need the right pieces, and they just need to fit together correctly, and it will work, and you will make sales, and it can.
It's trial and error. You
totally
willing to risk money, and you're gonna do a launch, and it's gonna work, and you'll follow the same blueprint the next time, and it'll flop. You have a store with baby clothes, and you're gonna bring in inventory, and some of it's not gonna sell. People are gonna you think that, oh, this is the next best thing, everybody's gonna love it, blah blah, and it doesn't go. And then you have the end of season sales where you can get it for, $2 or whatever it is. Like, things don't always go, or it gets shipped off to Israel.
Yes.
If you have more wins than losses, you will make money. And that should be the goal. And the more times you go in it, like, if the more I fail, that means the more I can succeed. But if I'm holding back on my failures, I'm not going to learn. A quote unquote failure is an opportunity to learn. So that's really the mindset shift. If I had failed launches or failed things, or I launched my program and nobody signed up, or one or two people signed up, of course I did. But then I learned from it. I'm like, okay, those emails weren't landing. I didn't deliver my sales pitch at the end of it. And so what?
Yeah.
That's why it's important to get paid well, so that you can keep yourself and your business going. And that's also why, if you are launching any business, like, you've got to figure out your personal and household spending separate from your business, because your business is its own entity. And I remember reading that Steve Jobs, when he launched Apple, I think in 1976, of course, he's launching a computer, research and development. Like, of course, they had to borrow money. It took him till, I think, 2004, 28 years. After 28 years, he sent an email to everybody who was then working at Apple. We're debt-free.
Wow. And in the same vein, I've heard that Mishpacha took like 2 years to break even in the early days. It's like people want to start a magazine and they think, oh, I'd love to start a magazine. And then it literally took them 2 years to break even.
To break even, you need investment capital, and like believing that you can run a service-based business on a shoestring is misguided.
Yeah. Wow, Debbie, this has been so packed. I've learned so much. I just want to just listen to us again because I needed to sink in me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I think everyone's going to love this. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me.